want to welcome you once again. As we promised you that we shall be bringing you different people, you're very welcome to the Sisters Empowerment Show. And today, I'm happy and excited to host a young entrepreneur who is going to speak to us about various issues, and among others, the entrepreneurship skills and how to improve them, and leadership skills. I don't want to speak a lot before she says anything, but I want to welcome you all. Thank you for viewing in, and I want you to welcome other people by sharing this video. We welcome you to subscribe, share, and comment. Don't forget that this show is proudly sponsored by Have and Save Enterprises, located at Ham Shopping Center. It entirely deals in children's stuff and items from 0 years to 14 years. So it's a one-stop center for children's items. In addition, this show is sponsored by St. Daniela Education Services. This is a nursery and boarding primary school located in Namayumba sub-county, and it is found in Wakiso district. So if you want good discipline and good performance by your children, look nowhere else but at St. Daniela Education Services. And in addition, we have a very good sponsor that has joined this show, and this is Chukuku. When I talk about Chukuku, I'm talking about chicken. So Chukuku is proudly sponsoring this program, and they are entirely dealing in supply of chicken. They are rearing chicken. Anything to do with chicken, look nowhere else but at Chukuku. So, our dear viewers, today I have a beautiful, wonderful lady, and I'll let her tell our viewers her name.
Thank you, Daisy, for hosting me. My name is Kulthum Kuchu Nagai, a young entrepreneur, as she has introduced me. Studied a bachelor's degree in human resource management from Makerere University Business School. Currently studying my master's in business admin, still from Makerere University Business School.
Oh, Kuchu,
Yes,
you've just
Daisy.
talked about your having attended Makerere Business School, but I think you're taking me very fast.
Okay.
And our viewers, we just want to tell our viewers and for you to let us know what inspired you into going to Makerere Business School. Can you please take us back through how you got this idea of doing or going to Makerere Business School?
First and foremost, it being a business school, personally I'm greatly motivated by entrepreneurship. I like things to do with business. And so when I had the title of Makerere University Business School, I decided to opt for that faculty in particular. So I specialized in business, and that's why I studied the Bachelor's of Human Resource Management. That one deals with people. I relate with employees, employers, things of a sort. So basically that's why I joined Makerere University Business School, because I was really interested in the business aspect.
Okay, before going to Makerere Business School, I know our viewers are wondering, okay, did she just jump to Makerere Business School? Can you please tell us where you first went before going to Makerere Business School?
Yes, I can. It all started from village school back then. I was born in Masaka, in Molago Hospital. For my nursery and primary school, I went to a school called Masaka Parent School, where I did my PLE, and I got 10 points.
So PL is primary living examinations, for
Yes.
those of you who are not from Uganda.
Yes, yes it is. From Masaka Parent School, I went to St. Lawrence Schools and Colleges along Masaka Road. I studied my S1 to S4 from St. Lawrence Citizens High School, in particular Horizon Campus, the only girls campus. And that's where I sat my UCE from. I got a first grade, 32
Wow.
points.
That is great.
Thank you. Then from there, I went to London College of St. Lawrence still, where I did my USCE, that is Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education. And I studied geography, economics, entrepreneurship,
Wow.
sub-math.
At that age.
Yes, and
Okay.
for the years we studied the USCE, we were studying out of 20 points, and I managed to score 15.
Oh my God, how did you get that? Anyway, you may not go into how you got that. What kind of student were you as you were going through this education that you were, the schools that you were attending?
Well, not to blow my own trumpet, Kuchu was a famous student all the way, right from primary to secondary to university.
What made Kuchu a very prominent person? Because I also heard about that name from some students that attended St. Lawrence. So I'm interested, and that is why I have hosted you for our viewers to actually get a gist of who Kuchu is.
Well, allow me to take you back a bit to primary school. Kuchu has always been a leader. Right from primary one, where I was a monitress.
Wow.
Yes. Then in primary,
Weren't you scared at that age?
I wasn't really scared, though I was a bit intimidated by the older pupils then, because they used to undermine the young ones. What will they do? What can they do? They can bully them. But I wasn't that easy.
Wow.
So that's how I managed. Then going to primary 4, primary 3, I started taking on the bigger roles. Those are assistant, maybe sanitation, assistant religious prefect, and all that. So when it reached P7, I was actually appointed head girl.
Oh,
Yes, because of the roles I was playing back then.
wow, that is great.
And
So did it stop at that?
no, not really. I think that was my very first big role as a leader.
And how did you find it?
It was really interesting, though it had some challenges, of course.
Of course, every leadership position has challenges.
True. Because not everyone really likes every leader. We always have those forces that try to pull us back. You can't do this, you can't punish me. Short as I was, still, I had to maneuver through them, and I managed to be a successful head girl. My reign was a successful one. I managed to introduce a team that used to pick leaves around the school those days. Because before, our headmistress would hire a team to clean. But when I was in primary 7, I introduced, it was a rota-like thing. P1, you pick the leaves from this garden. P2, you pick the leaves from around this area, like
And
that.
students do not like that.
Exactly, and
Yeah, so it must have been a challenge for you.
of course it was, they were a bit notorious and all that, but I had the support of the teachers. So I managed to be successful. That was the primary part of it.
So moving fast, now tell us what other positions you occupied, if any, and where did it take you and where you are right now. So let's start from the first question. After being head girl, which other positions did you occupy?
Now, joining my secondary school, that was at St. Lawrence Schools and Colleges, as a new student of senior 1, I was a head monitress then for the lower section. That was S1 and S2. That was my very first big position in a prominent school. So
And I know it was a mixed school, yeah?
no, for S1 to S4, I was in a single girls school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was my very first big role. Then around S4, I was appointed still deputy head girl.
Oh,
Yes, that was my S4.
so I think there were some values that they were seeing in you to be appointed.
Of course, because I was a person who never lagged behind in any activity. I really liked engaging students in all the school programs. I made a lot of friends. And in those circles I had, that's what really inspired them, because they knew I would manage to handle the students.
Okay. Now, fast forward. I want you to tell our viewers, because I've heard much about your leadership skills, and I'm very much interested in knowing what are those leadership skills that you possess. How did you get these skills? And share them with the viewers and youth out there who would want to discover their skills.
Well, growing up, my mother used to tell me that leaders are born. Like, I was an inborn leader, but okay, some people say leaders can be made, though you can only be made if you are already born a leader. And how do you identify yourself that you can be a leader? With the confidence I had in me.
Are you confident?
Yes, I am.
I can just see you. Yeah.
With the confidence I had, the self-respect I gave myself. I'm a person who values integrity.
And integrity is very important
Yes, it
for
is.
any leadership position.
Yes, it is. I'm a self-driven person, self-motivated. I don't need extra push from anyone. So when they identified that at an early age, my mother always told me, go ahead, apply for all those positions, be it in primary, be it in secondary. She always pushed me. Like she was a force that already identified that I can be a leader. So she motivated me to go in for it, and that's how I went in for it. All the time I would go for it, I would be like, at the back of my head, my mother always told me, apply for it and you get it, and you are an inborn leader.
Okay.
So that's how I managed.
Now, I want you to tell us about these leadership skills. What are they?
When you ask about leadership skills, for what I can tell you, okay, a leader, you are good at coordinating, you are good at disciplining.
You give us examples as well, like you've been a leader, you may tell us, when I was head girl, I disciplined this girl, she did this.
Okay.
Currently I'm this, because I mean, people want to prove what you are exactly telling them, because we've been promising them, we are going to bring to you motivational speakers, we are going to bring to you experienced people, so they really want to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Okay, well, using my past experience, because I've held bigger positions than just head girl, I can take you back slightly. At my university, at my bachelor's degree, I was the only candidate, the only female candidate that stood for Prime Minister, and that was the biggest post by then in my university.
That is too much confidence.
So
I mean, ladies never want to vie for those high positions.
true. I was the only lady out of 6 gentlemen.
Okay.
So to intimidate them a bit, I also decided to wear a suit, like a suit, trousers, and a coat for the day of nominations. So we were all wearing suits, and practically the people in the crowd would not tell who is the woman, who is the man, but I managed.
And you were successful.
Yeah, I wasn't really. I won't say that all the time you get
You were successful to compete. I mean, you competed up to the end.
Yes,
yeah?
I did. Yes, I did, though, unfortunately,
Oh,
I lost.
so take us through now. After that, where did you go with your leadership skills?
Well, first of all, that experience of standing for Prime Minister taught me a few lessons. It taught me that, okay, earlier I was really overconfident, so I learned to limit my confidence. And then I was over-expecting, so I thought I would automatically win, like how it was happening before. But then all that taught me how a leader should be. You know, it molded me, how it gave me strength. That's something. It was really a hard time because I lost, I was depressed and all that, but I managed. You know, I got strength. I'm like, if you manage to reach this step, then meaning there are bigger things elsewhere, and you can always go for them.
Okay.
And another thing, it taught me how to compete. A leader competes.
Favorably.
Yes. So that's also something I learned. Healthy competition. Yeah, that's something I learned. And it taught me how to communicate. Well, that was the first platform I had to communicate professionally. Yeah.
I want you to tell our viewers, when you talk about communication and moreover professional communication or communicating professionally, what do you exactly mean?
Well, for the people in my age bracket, the youth, they are usually fond of using slangs. Hey guys, what's up? Such terms. You can't use such terms when you are addressing a crowd of responsible Ugandans, responsible citizens, responsible people. So that's something I learned. And then which modes of communication to use where. That's something I didn't know. And currently, being modern world, modern
It's a globalized
field,
world
exactly,
now. Yeah,
exactly.
It's a small
.com
village.
era, you know, you always go in for other forms of communication. Nowadays we have the social media, we have, you know, you get to use all these platforms here and there to like communicate to, of course, which particular people. And I remember that experience taught me how to, because there is communication, but to particular age groups. If you're talking to the youth and you're too serious, they may not take you seriously. So
Actually, they might think you're too serious for them.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
So-
over above and above them.
Exactly. So the best you can do is to always engage them, make them your friends, and then tell them the message. And how do you portray the message?
Associate with them in their way of dealing. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and then how do you communicate to the professional people, the older people, you know? That's something I really learned. And via communication, I learned one key thing, that when you are communicating to someone, you know, we're usually fond of using very complex words, sometimes to prove that we know a lot of English.
Yeah, that is very common with professionals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you are communicating to people, the main aim is for them to understand the message. But then if you are using complex words, and then me, the receiver of the message, I'm not understanding anything, then you're not communicating. So that's one thing I learned about communication.
Okay. So I want you to tell our viewers that as you're practicing these skills and you're telling them all these skills you've acquired, what has helped you to move on and on? Because I've also got to learn that you do some presentations. So tell our viewers exactly how you're moving on and how you're applying these skills in your day-to-day life.
Well, having presentation skills, these have helped me.
Okay, let me just interrupt you. I've just learned that you do some presentations, yeah? Can you tell our viewers these presentations that you do, what are they? And what do they involve?
Okay, well, at the moment, I do training sessions, mentorship sessions for the youth specifically seeking for jobs.
And that is what the Sisters Empowerment Show is really interested in.
Wow.
So tell us more about these mentorship trainings and presentations that you make, and even tell people out there, those who need you, how can they access you?
Okay, well, allow me, Labor and Social Development, under the Employment Services Department, in particular the Counseling and Guidance Division. So under that division, I'm a labor support officer in charge of carrying on the training sessions, mentorship sessions. So I take through the youth, the ones who are seeking for jobs, the job seekers. I take them through the CV writing. How should a proper CV look like? How should you apply for a job? How should you write an application letter? How should you address yourself at the panel? So I take them through all that. For the mentorship sessions, we carry out sessions that are pre-interview. We carry out at the interview sessions, post-interview sessions. We take them through what procedures they should go through while at the panel. What soft skills should they possess, and how they should address all that. Well, when we are attending to the youth, we usually motivate them, we usually encourage them to be confident, of course, how they appear before a panel, dress code when you're going for an interview, soft skills, how do you communicate, how do you present yourself, interactive skills, how do you relate with people at the panel. So we take them through all those skills, and I do that on a daily basis at the Ministry of Gender headquarters. And I find it an interesting role.
No, you've just been telling our viewers how you're taking these youth and the job seekers through this process. You know, it's a very very hard process for the youth out there to search for jobs. Can you give us some of the few pointers that you feel those things that you can't live out in this show for the youth who are watching you, of how they should address themselves, for example, when they are looking for jobs?
Well, I think it all starts from before they look for the jobs. Are they interested in seeking for the jobs? You know, we really sometimes they get discouraged because they have maybe applied for 1 or 2 jobs and they have not succeeded. But then still they have to be resilient enough, persistence. So they have to keep on applying. That's something I can really tell them. Personally, to get my first job, I didn't just, I did plenty of interviews and I would fail, but then I never give up. That's something I always tell myself. You do not have to give up. Even however much you fall, you
have to
get
stand
back
up
on your feet and move.
Okay. Our dear viewers, I want to remind you that you're still watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. And this show is actually sponsored by St. Daniela Education Services and Have and Save Enterprises and Chukuku Enterprises located in PG. And I would just like to remind you that we want you to subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. Our dear guest, you've been talking about people applying for jobs, and if they fall, they must stand up. Are you only specialized in this formal sector of applying for jobs, and you don't have any other sector on which to advise our viewers about the job industries?
Actually, I think the best approach towards unemployment for any youth would be if they created the jobs for themselves.
Thank you. And that is why the Sisters Empowerment Show is actually here. Because very many people out there are talking about the formal employment. And the Sisters Empowerment Show is out there to encourage the youth, those employable people, to actually try and look outside the box and try to look at the informal sector. So can you please tell our viewers more about this sector?
Well, I greatly encourage the youth to take on the entrepreneurship bit of it. You know, you can become your own CEOs. Personally, I'm CEO, Chukuku Enterprises.
Tell our viewers about the Chukuku.
Well, Chukuku is a company that supplies chicken. We deal in broiler birds. And that's what we do. We basically slaughter, pack, and deliver to your doorstep.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us how it started, because I mean, the reason we are hosting some of you people is to encourage our viewers out there that you don't need to start very big. Actually, for us, our approach is start very small and grow big. So tell us briefly, how you started this company.
Well, when I joined as a volunteer at Ministry of Gender, that was July last year, 2019, I had a goal. The main target was at the end of that 1 year, I should have established something for myself. And so I looked around. Well, I'm a person who is passionate about animals. So I have a dream of having an animal farm, like plenty of animals all in one place. But then I looked at it and I'm like, I think I should first start with the chicken, because the people I stay with had an idea about the chicken. So I went ahead to consult, how much do I need? What are the basic things I need, you know? You don't have to start so big.
Tell them.
Yes, you don't have to start so big, because personally, I started from a wooden chicken house. So a wooden chicken house, and I think by the end of the year, I'll have constructed a concrete one.
Wow.
Basing on how things are moving. So I managed to save, of course, because as the youth we have a poor saving culture, that I won't lie. But
and I think we shall invite you here to tell much more about the saving culture.
Yes,
Yes.
I will be on it. Come back. So I had a target. The basic is the target and the objective at the end of the day. When you are working, what are you aiming at? Are you just working to eat the money? Are you just working to buy shoes and dresses and hair?
And slay.
Exactly. Are you just working to slay, to buy iPhone X?
The latest.
Yeah, exactly.
And the latest car.
Thank you so much. Are you working so hard to drive an ML at 25? So personally, that wasn't the aim. The aim was, by the end of that 1 year, I should be a CEO of something. And then, that is how I managed. On the little salary, I won't disclose that I earn.
Yeah.
I managed to save.
We all know that the salary for government employers is not so big, yeah?
Yes. Excuse me. So I managed to save off a certain percentage every month, so that I can be able to achieve my target at the end of the day.
Okay, that must be a discipline that you hold for you to be in position to save that particular one.
True.
Yeah?
True.
And make sure that every month you save it.
Yes, true. Because actually I had a fixed account in Stanbic.
At that age?
Yes, at that age. So I'm like, at the end of the month, they deduct a certain percentage and fix it there. So at the end of the year, that 1 year, because Chukuku is now about 5 months, I may say, close to 5 months. Yeah, that's how I managed to save my money, and I managed to set it up, and now it's work in progress. Business is moving on well, and it's really motivating me to work harder so that I can expand.
Okay. Our dear viewers, actually, we brought Chuku for her to tell you the story, because we know that some people out there think you need to start big. And some people actually underlook some jobs. I know you're a qualified person, that's why I started by asking you about your qualifications. So people out there, the youth out there who are looking for employment, don't think you'll just sit in your office and slay and be in the ACs and you can't do anything. Our guest here today is sharing her experience about being a CEO. I think you're just a young girl. Actually, I'm challenged by what you have done in 1 year of saving. Yeah, so give our viewers some more information about how they can develop their entrepreneurship skills.
First of all, I think it starts from identifying yourself and your passion. What are you passionate about? Okay, well, me as Kuchu, I might have been passionate about animals. So I decided to go into that field of animals. But then you could find someone really is talented. They have the talents. They could do art, they could sing,
Do
they
cosmetology.
cosmetology, weaving, all those things. But then they undermine them because they have a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. They have bachelor's degree in statistics. But at the end of the day, what I always tell my peers is that, there is no crime at all having your professional job and your side hustle.
Tell it to them again.
There is no problem having your degree as well as a side hustle.
Thank you very much.
Well, let a professional job get you along the way when you are somewhere already as a person.
Okay.
So I always encourage them, go in for something you're really passionate about. Give it your all. Try as hard as you can and fail, but don't fail to try.
Okay.
So consult those who have been in the industry. You know, as the youth, some of the youth, they tend to feel like maybe they know it all. But believe me, peers, you don't know it all. You need to consult the elders, you need to consult the people who have been in the industry before you. You know, they need to guide you here and there.
Okay.
Besides that, I still encourage them, those who are really interested in the professional jobs, they should go ahead to apply for as many jobs as they can. Personally, to get the job I'm on right now, I had a target still in applying for jobs. I would always apply for at least 3 jobs every day.
Wow.
Yes, that is what I use my smartphone for, at least every day.
Okay. Now, as we move on, you've just talked about applying for many jobs and many times. I personally tell my colleagues at my workplace, I hope my employer is not listening, that every year I must apply for a job. whether I get it or not. So sometimes I do it for adventure, but other times I just want to tell myself I'm not at my destination. I think that is something very important. Our dear viewers, I want to remind you that you're watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. And as we go on to discuss this, Ms. Kuchu, I know you've told us about your successes within 1 year, but it will not go without saying that there were challenges that you met. Can you share with our viewers some of the challenges you have encountered and how you've gotten over them?
Well, true, I've had challenges here and there. First and foremost, of course, it's a competitive world, a competitive Uganda in particular, where some people have a tendency to say, they have that belief that people only get professional jobs when they know someone. I think I'm a testimony or a living example. I got my job when I didn't know anyone. I was actually shocked that I got there and got through. So, I think that should be a lesson. Regardless, okay, it could be a challenge somewhere, but it is a lesson. You know, you always use the challenges to find the little opportunity within the challenge.
So even if you don't know anyone at any job opening, please just go out there and apply. Never know, you might get the job like Kuchu got it.
Sure. Other challenges I faced as, of course, growing up and seeking for employment. I think earlier when we were growing up, we didn't get the career guidance bit of it. So you find that we made lots of mistakes in secondary school back then. You know, choice of course to choose at A-levels. Most of the people, you find that people who studied PEM are now doing human resource at campus. And at the end of the day, it's not because it's what they wanted or so, but because they were never guided. So somehow, somewhere, I feel like it's also a challenge. Okay, I'm talking generally for the youth, that most of them make their choices because they are not well guided. So a recommendation I would add to that is the youth should, okay, the schools, we go to institutions, should seriously take on the career guidance programs.
Wow. What about in your business of Chukuku? I know that people are out there looking at you and wondering and saying she's telling us about her success story. What about the challenges? I want you to share with our viewers some of those challenges you have faced that you really find worth sharing with our viewers, and how you got over those challenges.
Well, the first challenge is of course the financial bit of it. You know, not all the time that you have the money, and of course to start something you need some money. So if you do not have the money, what other ways are you going to use to find the money to, you know, boost your business or so? So at the end of the day, you find that your network, like I always tell my friends, that your network is your net worth. The people you know are the people who are going to help you when you need to be helped. Personally, there was a time I got a few financial challenges, but still it's the people I network with that have helped me maneuver through that. So they have supported here and there, and that's how I managed to capture that challenge. Another one is...
before you go to another one about finances, you know, finances are very crucial. I know that people out there are wondering about the small finances or the huge monies that you want to start business with. I want you to throw a little light about that and how to overcome that challenge. For example, if you have little money in starting a business, how do they overcome that challenge?
Well, if you have little money, you can always opt for a few other sources of the money. How? Some people go in for loans. Some people go in for maybe, like how I said, the networks help, fundraising, doing a little small scale things. You do not have to start so big. You just you just have to budget for the little you have. So once I think you have that, and I think we lack the aspect of financial literacy as the youth. So we always feel like every business should start with millions, which is not right.
Actually, our viewers out there, we are going to bring someone to speak to them about that financial literacy and how well they can start even with little monies. Yeah. You're still watching the Sisters Empowerment Show. Please don't hesitate to share, like, comment, and subscribe. And Kuchu, as we go on with this program, I remembered that you're one of these people who are always using social media platforms as a way of advertising your business, especially the Chukuku business. Can you please tell our viewers out there, how do you use this social media to market your product, the Chukuku?
Well, lately there are plenty of platforms where you can get to interact with various groups of people still over the internet. How before those days people had emails and I think phone calls and text message. But nowadays you have a platform where you can post pictures, comment on them, caption them, you know, talk about your prices, your phone numbers, post them. For me personally, I use the WhatsApp status to update and communicate to my customers, as well as Instagram, because I'm always posting on the statuses, and then I have plenty of followers though. So the thing is, you follow, they follow back. That's the thing. So I go in for plenty of followers so that they follow me back as I post whatever product I have for myself.
Okay. Our dear viewers, we are going to have a discussion about that topic on the use of social media, an extensive talk. So as we conclude this video, I want you to give us some tips, something to carry back home that youth out there and any other viewers who are watching you should know.
Well, one thing I would urge the youth is to always be disciplined, determined, and dedicated. If you have a goal, if you look at something, actually where we all go wrong is that we never set goals as the youth. But if you want to be successful, set a goal, be determined to achieve it, be dedicated towards achieving it, and be disciplined. With those 3 Ds, you will manage to be successful in life.
Wow, thank you very much, Kuchu, for allowing to come and speak to our people out there, our viewers. Thank you very much for the information you've relayed to them. And our viewers out there, I would like to actually thank you for always viewing in, for always following, sharing, subscribing to our videos. And we promise that we shall be bringing you more and more. And Kuchu will always be coming from time to time to take us through several topics because she is a renowned presenter, she's a mentor, she's an entrepreneur. So we want to tap from her knowledge, and you're always welcome to contact her on her phone contact. That is...
Yes, they can also find me at Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development, Counseling and Guidance Unit. The number 0702 807787. Email address kulthumkajimu@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And bye-bye.